Hey, hola, senores y senoritas.
Oh, Jesus.
Cocosports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. That's right, it's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you got the Coco crew here holding it down live. You got yours truly, the sexiest man on all Overnet Wrestling Radio. That's right, Boom Boom here, shaking the room live from the RVA, Richmond, Virginia. And of course, joining me there, way across the pond in Tokyo, Japan, talking about future critically acclaimed author
Oh, Jesus.
Dave Coco. What's up, Coco?
you overhyped much there, champ?
It seemed to be. It's an inevitability.
This is our weekly Lucha Underground review. For those that only follow me for Lucha Underground, thank you very much. Please check out my other stuff. But this is my co-host with the most. Usually we used to co-host a lot during the things. This is the first time we're together for Lucha Underground. Don't embarrass me in front of my peeps now. Lucha Underground is my jam or something. Okay, I just embarrassed myself. Moving on. We usually ask win, loss, or tie. What did you think of the show? Boom Boom. Oh, please leave that down in the comments. And Boom Boom, since you're here, you don't have to leave it down in the comments. What did you think overall? Win, loss, or tie?
Overall, I'm going to give the show a win. I think there was a lot of good storytelling, a lot of good follow-ups, a lot of good foreshadowing. I've actually been anxious to review Lucha Underground with you. You got me hooked on it, and I've just been watching ever since. I said this like on one of my other reviews last week, but I'll say it on this one just because I know that people like co-executive producer Krista Joseph listens, and a lot of hardcore Lucha Underground fans listen. I will say that last week's Trios title match is a match of the year candidate, in my opinion. So I was anxious to see how they would follow up last week's show, and I'm going to be honest, they really did not disappoint. We had we had a great opener. We had great continuation, with the Lucha, with the Trios title, which I'll get to later. They're setting up for the future with a number one contender match and a great main event, and kind of nice little tease, somewhat of a cliffhanger, and some foreshadowing. Absolutely amazing show. I really can't tell you what I liked about it without spoiling it right now. That's the whole purpose of the review. So, but overall, I give it a win, and I would encourage you, if you're not a Lucha Underground fan, well, first of all, what the hell are you doing? Listen to this, but you came to the right place. Go ahead and watch this week's episode. It's definitely worth your time.
Lucha Underground. I don't know. I don't know how to say this, so I'll just go out and bluntly say it. I think it was the weakest show ever. With that said, I still think it's the best show on television. So I'm giving it a win. I love this product. It's my favorite product on American television, and slowly but surely, I don't know. It's because I know it's coming to an end. It's starting to become my highlight over New Japan. I'm starting. Maybe it's like a limited time only. Maybe it's like, let's make it best of the time we have. But I give it a win, and I still think it's the best show on television. But I think this episode might have been their weakest episode ever. I don't know about that. But I'm giving it a win. But it's not up to Lucha Underground standards, in my opinion. I think there's been so many better shows. Not a lot, but the last 3 or 4 shows been on a roll. But overall, I still give it a win because it's one of the few shows I turn off social media. It's one of the few shows where I just want to sit down and actually watch the show. I don't want to tweet. I'm not distracted. There's never a time I check the clock. So to me, I give it a win, but it's not the perfect range like the last couple weeks. All right, Booms. Maybe you'll have a better chance at announcing these Spanish names. Did you take Spanish 1 or Spanish 2?
Well, let's see. I've taken a grand total of 2 years of Spanish, and I think I failed both of them. So
you're a million times better than me.
My Spanish is absolutely horrible. I'm sorry. I think Spanish. People are like, "Oh yeah, Spanish is an easy language to pick up." Bullshit.
No. Hold on. Learning a second language is almost next to impossible, no matter what the language is.
Mm-hmm.
Learning a second language is it's an amazing skill. That's why when someone knows two languages, they're so douchey about it. But the reason they're douchey about it is because it's not an easy task. And yeah, in New Jersey, you had to take a second language or transfer in between schools. Guess what I did? I'm not even making it up. I transferred in between schools. So I went to two different high schools so I wouldn't have to take Spanish or a second language because I just knew I was going to fail. I was going to fail. I grew up around Spanish people all the time, and they're like, this is how you say hello. And like 7 years later, I'm like, how do you say hello again? And yes, I do live in Tokyo, Japan. Just wondering if you wondered how that learning a second language thing worked out for me. But yeah, no, they were like, you can learn in New Jersey. You have to take 2 years of school, or you have to transfer to learn a skill. And I was like, they were like, oh, you can transfer to Bricktown, and I was like, hell yeah. So I went to two different high schools every day because it was a like loophole of not learning a second language. All right, let's break down Lucha Underground, sir.
All right, starting out here, let's see. The crew was confronted by Dario, who was saying, "Oh, this was a layup. You guys, completely messed this up. I mean, I practically handed you those trios titles on the silver platter, and you couldn't get the job done." And then he says, "Follow me." So we took him to the room. There's like a cage, but they don't show what's in the cage. He goes, "This is my brother, and if you fuck me over again, you're gonna have to apologize to him." So I'm anxious to see what they've got in the cage here. What is it going to be something like? I'm not saying it's Abyss, but is it going to be something like Abyss? Like a big monster, a big monstrous person, another monster heel. I mean, what could it possibly be? And that's what I like about it, because I'm anxious to see. Well, you kind of teased me here. I'm anxious to see who Dario's brother is. I also want to find out more about Dario's agenda, and I really want to see what's in the cage. So I think that was just kind of a decent way to follow up from last week.
Yeah, I love the television shooting of the camera. I love the storyline. I love the owner, the boss. I just think the character is absolutely amazing.
I think Dario is one of the best characters on television, and I'm not saying not just wrestling. I think on television, period. I mean, he's a very complex character. I don't know what his end game is. I want to find out more. Why is he running Lucha Underground? What's he trying to get at? I mean, is there a huge payoff? His motivations, how he interacts with the characters. So not just in wrestling, I think on television, Dario is one of the best characters that I'm seeing on TV right now in 2015.
Now, the only thing, the Batman girl learning the way of the platypus, that storyline really scares me. And I hope, it's one of those things, once you did 23, 24 great episodes, you're more willing to trust the creators of the show, but it still scares me. And this scares me a little bit for the other way. The whole key mystery has been exciting. The whole what's in the cage thing has been excited. I worry that it's going to be a letdown. I don't read spoilers, so maybe people that read spoilers are like, no way, it's fucking gold dust. I don't know. But but the thing is, I'm excited about the See the Key. I love the way they shot it. I love how it's kind of comic book movie, but it's kind of like, I trust you, but I'm still scared. I'm still scared. I always compare the Perry the Platypus storyline. I compare the What's in the Cage, the Key storyline to Aladdin. They're Aladdin, and I'm the princess. And he's like, do you trust me? And have your hand out. And I'm nervous. I'm nervous, but you've put on so many great episodes of pro wrestling. I do trust you. It's a whole new world. So, I have a fear, just because, the Perry the Platypus storyline is kind of ridiculous, but
platypus? Perry the Platypus?
No one knows the reference, but you can tell. Like, it's so funny when I mention Perry the Platypus references, you can tell how old they are, because like if you have kids, they're like, I get that reference, and if they don't have kids, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? So my jokes are made. You know how like people have a niche audience of a niche audience. My niche audience is Lucha Underground dads who also have to watch the Perry the Platypus with kids. That's my demographic right there. That's my niche. If I was John Cena, I'd be like, I'm number one with those guys. But yeah, so the girl training scares the shit out of me, and the cage, and I'm excited about the cage. But I'm just like, this has to be the most amazing thing ever. Like, you know, you don't watch The Flash. But The Flash has this giant fucking monster. I won't give too many spoilers. And they're just like, holy shit, when the fuck is that coming? That's how I feel. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a CG fucking monster like in Flash. Just like, holy shit, didn't see that coming. And all that, but if it's your brother and your brother has your back, now granted, everyone has troubles with their brother, but locking him up in a cage? You know, that's a fucked up shit. And not only that, but locking him in the cage, and he's so confident that he's going to be on his side. You know, I have a brother. If he locked me up in the cage, the first thing I'd be like, how can I punch this guy right in the balls? Like, that would be my mission statement. Be like, all right, I'm in a cage. I'm in a warehouse. I hear thousands of people chanting Lucha. I'm not really sure what's going on outside, but I'm in a fucking cage. When I see little fucking Pee-wee over there, I'm punching him right in the fucking nuts. I'm going to play it cool. I'll be like, hey, man, think of mom. Hey, man, you know, wouldn't it be cool if this fucking, you know, I was allowed outside the cage? I'd play it cool, you know. I wouldn't be that asshole who's like, let me out or I'll punch you in the balls. You got to play it cool. And as soon as he let me out or he was close enough, I'd punch him right in the balls. But no, the boss man, he's like, no, I'm confident. I'm confident my brother's on my side. All right. So you have a brother, right?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Well, I mean, do you have loyalty to him if he locks you in a cage for all this time? Because, I mean, it's been 24 weeks of television. Who knows how long that's been in fucking fantasy world? So let's just say 24 weeks. Let's say it's real time, okay? You have real-time events. We're 24. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so you have real-time events, 24. That's 24 weeks you've been trapped in a goddamn cage. If your brother throws you in a cage for 24 weeks and you can't even watch Lucha Underground, but you can hear the excitement, how's that building up loyalty? How's that building up loyalty? How? All right. Let's start talking matches.
Yeah, let's start talking matches. The first Lucha, and I think it was a good debut here, or a good opening match, excuse me. It was Killshot versus Phoenix. I think this was a great opening match. I like the springboard that Phoenix ducked, and then it turned into like a little bit of a slap fight. There was a DDT. I like the Hurricanrana from the inside of the ring to the outside, right there on the apron. It was kind of good back and forth, I think, by both competitors here. Anyway, Killshot hit a super kick off the top. He was going up to the top, but Phoenix caught him, hit him with a pile driver, and got the win. Phoenix coming away victorious. Haven't seen Phoenix pop up in a few weeks, so it was good to see him back. He's the guy that we got here on the cover here of the Lucha Underground, so it was good to see him back.
Yeah, I missed Phoenix for a while. I thought, you know, he was going to play a bigger role.
By the way, Dave,
there's still time. Go ahead.
By the way, you know, Phoenix's side, you know, the Killshot, people are like, oh, you know, who is that? You know, I understand.
It's a Combat Zone. I know him from Combat Zone.
Oh, okay, Combat Zone. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's known for this, but this is what I know him for. In Combat Zone, he has decent matches with women. Like, he really roughs up the women and have legit matches, and that's the most I know about him. But I don't know. I don't think Killshot can hang with Phoenix. That's what I thought. Like, Phoenix is amazing and Killshot not bad, but just come on, dude. This is Lucha Underground, man. Step up your game. Step up your game there. So overall, I thought it was a pretty good thing. The fans were a bit underwhelmed this show, and I don't know where it was recorded, like in the order of stuff. I don't know if it was like first thing in the morning, they just got in, woke up, they've been there for 800 years. They might have just been worn out because the trios match and the fucking shows before it were absolutely amazing. But it was a short match, and a lot of these matches weren't that good, but the cool thing is they gave so much time for the main event. And it wasn't a bad match. It's just it didn't live up to what I thought Lucha Underground standards were, and that's the problem. When once you become so awesome, people like hold you up to those standards. You're like, well, you're completely awesome. Be awesome all the time. And I guess it's a decent problem to have. I don't know. Some people would be like, now how dare you? But I think it was pretty decent. I enjoyed the opening match, but it did seem a bit off, and it just seemed like Killshot was not in the same league as Phoenix as far as
I disagree. I think he did a great job. Or either that or Phoenix did a great job of carrying him because I felt like he hung in there with them. He looked Killshot looked amazing. I think knowing what I know now, you're saying he just wrestles women in combat zone.
That's what he's known. That's what I know.
That's what he's known. That's what
I know him for. But no, he wrestles men too.
I think he's done a great job, converting over to that Lucha Underground style, that fast-paced, aggressive style. I mean, granted, the match didn't go all that long, but I don't feel like it really needed to. I think it was a solid opener. Phoenix looking good as always. I felt like Killshot held his own, and I'm interested to see more from him.
Yeah, I thought Striker, the announce team, I used to shit on Vampiro, but Vampiro has improved so much. I think Striker did an amazing job just putting it over and getting past certain things. All right, next segment, sir?
The next segment was it was back in the I believe it was the locker room or the men's room. I'm pretty sure it was the locker room. You had Dario confront Drago, and he said, "Oh, well, you didn't tell me thank you for giving you this opportunity," foreshadowing that this was going to be the main event for tonight, that it was going to be Drago versus Prince Puma. It's for the Lucha Underground Championship. However, if Drago loses, he would be banished from the temple forever. And he says, "Oh, you don't have to, worry about it. If you go out there and win." And then Dario also confronted Prince Puma, saying that, "Oh, well, if you're having second thoughts, only a weak man worries about his foe's condition. A warrior, finishes him off without a worry." And then Dario ran into Hernandez, and then he told Hernandez was booked in a three-way match versus, I think it was Hernandez, Cage, and King Cuerno, and decided to sweeten the pot a little bit. The winner would be the number one contender for the Lucha Underground Championship, to which that got Hernandez's approval. So again, these backstage segments, I like how they shoot the backstage segments. I mean, everything has a purpose. They kind of address those questions in my, that we kind of mentally ask ourselves as soon as they pop up. It's like, well, why should we care about this? Well, why is he booked in it? Well, I'll tell you what, let's make it a number one contenders match. How about that? Oh, okay, now I care about this match. Now there's a reason for all three of these guys being in there, because the natural thing would be, well, how do you know that Cage and Cuerno aren't going to just team up on Hernandez and beat him down? Well, now they really can't afford to, because a shot at the title's on the line.
Yeah, I just want to give credit. We shit on bad writing a lot. I think pro wrestling is the best entertainment in the world, the number one company in the world, even the number 2 and 3 companies in the world. I mean, if you're ranking them via what people think they are, have horrible writers, horrible storytellers. And as a guy who marks out to great stories and great television and great screenplays, it took Boom Boom probably longer to describe what happened than what actually happened. They were very smooth with the transitions, very smooth with how it felt, and it
didn't feel forced. Yeah, it did not feel forced. I mean, they put Prince Puma in a sympathetic position. It's like, he's the champion. Yeah, he wants to defend his title, but he doesn't want to end the man's career. So it puts him in a very sympathetic position.
Yeah, and not only that, but if you didn't read spoilers, it just got you so pumped up for this match. Like, I was pumped up for the match, but then they add in a stipulation, oh, his career is on the line for Lucha Underground, and then they add these promos in. And it's one of those things, I try to be anti-spoilers, because I don't think these segments are as special if you watch the spoilers. I think, oh, okay, I know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And that's why even for all the products, I try to stay away from the spoilers. And it's just amazing because, like, it was so smooth. It was shot like a television show. They told 3 or 4 stories in one simple segment, and it didn't drag on. You know, you got to remember, this is television and podcasting are 2 different things. Like us dragging on forever, like, all right, people are probably fucking just hanging out on a toilet or on a treadmill or something, just chilling the fuck out. But in television, it's different. You got to be short, sweet, and all that. And not all that, but Prince Puma, I think at the very end of this segment looks a little bit weak, but at the same time, they are doing the story. And there's a big thing that, especially in screenwriting, that people like brag about. It's kind of like hitting a no-hitter. It's very rare, and if it's done well, it's amazing. Stephen King did this in a screenplay. And when it comes to writing, this is, I'm using a baseball terminology, like a no-hitter. Like, it's a big deal. And that is, if you could have a character you care about and tell a story without actually using any dialogue, that's amazing. That's an amazing thing. And that's what they're doing with Prince Puma. They are telling a story with no dialogue. And to me, that's absolutely amazing.
Has Prince Puma said anything since he's been in Lucha Underground?
I get punched in the head a lot and forget, but to the best of my knowledge, I don't think he's ever said anything. That's the best I know. He might have said like some things here and there, but to the best of my knowledge, he hasn't. And it's just absolutely amazing. And even if he has said a line here or there, you know, it's just amazing that it's the champ, you care about him, and he doesn't talk. You know, it's just an amazing thing. And not all that, but it gives me hope because, you know, granted, under the mask, the man can speak English, I assure you, but it gives me hope because, you know, when, let's say Lucha Underground never comes back for season 2, which I fear, they've done things differently and successful enough that the bigger companies, and this ain't just in pro wrestling, this is in business and life, bigger companies wait till a smaller company has the balls to try it, and then the bigger company comes by and steal it. That's 99.9% of the time. I mean, if you've ever worked online, if you've ever worked, you know, that's how it works. So if Lucha Underground does nothing, they changed the way you could see stories told. They changed the way you could do shots. But above that, people that can't speak English, they can prove they could be champions and main eventers. You know, it's like, oh, well, there's a language problem. Prince Puma never talks. Well, no, Vince, just say you're racist. Can you say it? Just admit it. Say it on air. But, you know, it would be great. You know, it gives hope because there's so many amazing luchadors. There's so many amazing pro wrestling guys. And there's probably countries that I don't even keep up with that has amazing athletes. And people pass them by because they're like, well, you don't speak the English. And I don't know. I watch pro wrestling in Spanish. I watch pro wrestling in Japanese. And trust me, my Japanese and Spanish are absolutely horrible. You get the gist of what's going on. You know, Dana White always says it's 2 dudes beating the shit out of each other. You don't need a language for that. It's the human language. So, yeah, overall, I thought these segments were absolutely amazing. All right.
Oh, agreed. Next year, we came out to a 4-way match. It was Famous B, Ricky Mandel, Vinny Nasario, and Argenis, which is important because all 4 of these men, you know, and I'm using Air Fingers quote, had their arms broken by Pentagon Jr. So apparently, you know, it's like, okay, these guys are back. You know, they're healed up. They're ready to go here. And just as soon as the bell rang, the match ended because Tejano came in and just beat the crap out of everybody with that bull rope, grabbed the microphone, obviously addressing what happened to him last week when Davari, or at least the wrestler formerly known as Davari, I don't know what they're going to call him in Lucha Underground, attacked him. He's like, I don't let anybody put their hands on me. And he was going to, you know, it's like, I'm going to, you know, get my hands on you. I'm going to rip your, you know, I'll rip your lungs out, you know, kind of, you know, frantic promo there, which was in Spanish. Which they, and by the way, I wish they would do. Let me applaud Lucha Underground for this. You know, they have the wrestlers. I don't know if they can or can't speak English or not, but when they speak in Spanish, they have subtitles, and I think it's just so much better. It's so refreshing to have that.
We're looking at you, New Japan. We don't want to put you on blast, New Japan, and we don't want to say, hey, New Japan, you should be doing this. But we're thinking it. Fuck you. We're putting you on blast. Come on, New Japan. Go on, Booms.
Yeah, I think New Japan can learn something from Lucha Underground. Just if they don't speak English, fine, don't force it. Just put the subtitles down there. Boom. I can read, and I think it doesn't lose any. Nothing's lost in translation. The only thing I just didn't like about it was like, I don't know if they're trying to turn Tejano face or not, but I don't think that's the way to do it. And it's, I feel like they really needed to kind of address this, okay, what's going to happen to Tejano for interrupting this match? These 4 guys now back on the roster permanently now. What's going on? I just kind of hate that they try to advance this, for other people's expense.
Not so fast, my fellow friend. The first Lee Corso in years. I disagree. I saw these 4 guys in the fucking ring. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Sell your broken arms, bitch nuggets. Then I was like, what the fuck? This is a goddamn match? And then Tejano comes out, and I'm like, fuck yeah, destroy them all. Fucking non-selling broken arm coming back early motherfuckers. Beat their fucking asses. And it won me over because, Tejano, I was like, oh, that's cool. I saw you in an awesome match at Triple Mania. People speak highly of you. I don't fucking, come on. You're not really fucking, you're not bringing home the butter, whatever the fuck that means in Lucha Underground. And then, here he comes, and he's just fucking like, yeah, fucking destroy these 4 fucking guys. And I'm like, that's what you get. Your fucking arms for real, you motherfuckers. I just thought it was too soon for these 4 fuckers to come back, even though the original Mystico's brother is part of those 4. But I was glad to see him come out. Now, here's the thing. I used to be a Marine, and from a Marine, I worked high-level security. And I just think, and this is me, and I get made fun of a lot, I don't like fucking fans, even if they're Planet fans, beating the fuck out of people, running in the ring, and all that shit. I know some people find it exciting. The security guy in me is like, what the fuck? No. And people make fun of me all the time, but, because they're like, oh, you think a riot's really going to break out? I'm like, dude, riots break out in sporting events all the time around the world. You know what I mean? Why the fuck wouldn't there be a fucking riot, And it's just fucking crazy. But I'm not a big fan of fans just appearing and beating the shit out of the wrestlers for security reasons because, once you work security, you become a fucking puss bag. And the second reason is that it just fucking makes the wrestlers look horrible. It's just like, oh, here's a guy sitting ringside. He looks like Cesaro's dad. He's beating the fuck out of the former AAA champion. All right. So that means absolutely nothing. And they do this a couple times this show. But I am not a big fan of, because, tell them to fuck off and all that shit. And, do whatever you want. Ruin the goddamn show. And I'm not talking about Lucha Underground, I'm just talking about pro wrestling in general. But as soon as you touch a pro wrestler or as soon as you enter the ring, you should just get your fucking ass whooped. You should fucking get the fucking living bejesus beat out of you. And I just think I'm not a big fan of this. I'm just not. It makes the wrestlers look weak and kayfabe-wise, and then it's just like, oh, anyone can just fucking run in there and... if you've ever been part of a soccer riot or a riot in the fucking street, it just takes one guy. That's it. It takes one fucking brave soul. That's why, when you watch riot footage, people are like, oh, why did they go after that one person? The cops or anyone that's in charge of the riot, depending on where you live in the world, will fucking grab someone and just take them out. Well, that's because they deemed them as a risk, and it just takes one fucking brave person. And it doesn't fucking matter. I've been to third world countries where someone with fucking stones against 240 golfs, and it just takes one guy to say, you know what, I don't give a fuck anymore. Here's a fucking stone. And boom, the whole fucking place goes. And it happens at sporting events, especially in soccer and stuff. And it's even happened at lucha events and pro wrestling events. So... I'm just not a big fan of it. I'm not, and in kayfabe-wise, it's like, wow, Tejano, you're a fucking badass. You just lost to some dude in the fucking crowd. It reminds me of William Regal's stories. It's like, yeah, I had to fight people in the crowd, and if I lost, I was fired. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. And the next segment, they kind of skirt this line, but it's not as bad.
Yeah, by the way, I want to say congratulations, Dave. I really enjoyed your Lucha Underground debut. Dario was walking outside, and I love the makeup effects. They cut Dave's hair, they cropped it back, and they gave him a nice little, painted on a nice little goatee. And he came up in a little yellow shirt with the black letters Aztec Pride on it. And he goes up to Dario and says, I'm Marty the Moth Martinez. I don't know, Dave. I don't know. I think you came up with that because, it sounds like something you would come up with. And then you said, I want to be part of the show. And Dario's like, well, the temple is open to anyone, but you're going to be crushed. And Dario, shuts.
Didn't it remind you of Spider-Man? Spider-Man versus Macho Man? I actually like this segment. I just don't like where the segment led. Like, I like the fact that he camped outside. I like the fact that the owner's like, go fuck off. I liked everything about it except what happens later on. It's just like, come on, dude. Fucking, what the fuck? But yeah, I'm looking online. He used to be on Tough Enough. The guy used to be on Tough Enough, and boom, is just joking. You know what? Here's crazy. You ever noticed the longer we've been doing this, you feel obligated to tell people when it's sarcasm? Like, I remember in radio, we never once had to say it was sarcasm. People just fucking figured that shit out. But nowadays, I don't know if people are dumber, trolling, or whatever, but I always feel like, that really wasn't me. We're just using sarcasm. Like, I never had to feel that way 10, 20 years ago. I don't know if people are getting dumber. I don't know if the audience is getting broader. But, yeah, I feel like I have to tell people when I'm being sarcastic and you're being sarcastic. And that's not a good sign for the future. That is not a good sign for the future. I mean, because you've been doing this as long as I have. What, about 20 fucking years? We started off on this thing called radio.
Yeah,
I remember when we first started, we never had to worry about offending people, and we never had to worry. Like, we understood the audience knew it was sarcasm. Those days are gone. It's like, no, I really am not on the Lucha Underground roster. That was sarcasm. Anyway, let's talk about the next match for the #1 contendership.
Yes, it was Hernandez versus Cage versus King Cuerno. The winner would be the new #1 contender for the Lucha Underground title. So 3 big men in this, and I think it was a pretty good match, especially for 3 big men. A lot of speed, a lot of agility, especially out of Cage. Cage really impressed me with how fast he was going here, and they kind of fell into a little bit of a trap with, I think, triple threat matches fall into is where they have one guy gets thrown out of the ring, so it's just one-on-one, and then they kind of rotate. That guy on the outside will come in, throw another guy out, then those 2 guys will tie it up, and then another guy will get thrown out, then one guy will come in, and then they'll tie it up a little bit more. I feel like they kind of fell into that trap, but overall, it was pretty good. For a while, it was Cage and Cuerno double teaming Hernandez, like you would expect, but with the #1 contendership on the line, it kind of got interesting. Cage actually pulled off some pretty good wrestling maneuvers, especially that cradle he almost nailed on Cuerno. And then Marty the Moth decides to jump in the middle of the ring, and he got his ass handed to him.
Yeah, this is where the storyline goes from, haha, that's cute, to get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. I fucking hate storylines where, because granted, all right, this time at least the fucking guy running in didn't fucking beat the living shit out of a former fucking AAA champion. But at the same time, no, people are dumb. The masses are fucking dumb. Not everyone is dumb. This is how fucking dumb people are. Go watch any other podcaster. What do they talk about? They talk about how smart they are. When you have to talk about how smart you are, you're surrounded by fucking dumb people. No one, go find the smartest people in your town. They'll never mention how smart they are. But we have a generation and thousands of shows. I'm smart. Da, da, da. People are fucking dumb. The masses are dumb. Individually, they might not be dumb, but you get 6 of them together, 5.5 of them are dumb. You're like, here's one smart guy. Let's add 5 more. How many smart guys do you have? 5.5. I don't even know how it works out, but that's the way it works out. People are fucking dumb. You fucking have this asshole run in the fucking ring, then they fucking want to run in the ring. I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan. Enjoyed it up to that point. Go on, Booms. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, that's perfectly fine. That provided enough distraction for Hernandez to drop kick Cage to the outside. He hit Cuerno with, I believe, what they're calling an intestine buster. It looked pretty fucking sick, but it was enough for the win. So Hernandez is going to be your new number 1 contender for the Lucha Underground title. So I think it was a good match. Even with the interference, I was like, yeah, it's a bit of a stretch. I kind of hate that it was short. But I also realized the main event was coming up, so maybe I can let that slide. And interested to see how things are going to move forward from here now with Hernandez is your new number 1 contender. They've successfully split up the trios team of Cuerno, Cage, and Tejano. Definitely want to see where this is going. If this was a main event, I'd like it to be a little bit longer. I mean, this thing was like 5 minutes, so... But all in all, I think it was a good match. It accomplished what it needed to, and way to go.
So there you go. All right, so I enjoyed this match, and what I got out of it was a bit short, but that's okay because the main event. But what I got out of this was WWE just hates pro wrestling because there's this myth that it likes big guys. And I became a muscleist. Usually, if someone's big, I just assume they can't wrestle. I was going to say another joke, but too soon. Too soon. We'll leave the big guys alone. Fuck it. Usually when I see a big guy, I just assume he can't wrestle or read. But and no, I'm a muscleist. These guys can go, and they're big guys. So what that tells me is WWE is not a big man company. WWE is just an anti-wrestling company. Cage and Hernandez are huge, and they can go. And Hernandez winning makes the storyline really interesting. And not only that, but it's one of those things after Hernandez win, it's like, it should have been so obvious, but it wasn't for me. And I like the fact that it just brings some drama, like who's Conan going to go with. So it'll be very interesting to see where this heads. All right, let's go to some live comments before we hit to the main event. All right?
Please, yeah, let's do that.
Boop, boop, boop. Our Booth at CM Booth 27 says podcast time, and him and LK Smarkamark retweeted us, so appreciate it. Thank you for the love. Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. LK Wrestling's like, hey, you guys doing a Lucha Underground review? Let me fucking post my link in your chat. Nothing douchey about that, I assure you. Facebook, thank you very much. Thank you for the likes. And thank you for commenting on stuff that has nothing to do with Lucha Underground. No, it's my pet peeve. When people comment to me when I'm doing podcasts, it's not about the podcast. Well, fuck, you think we're friends or something? You think you know me? I'm sorry. And let's go to the YouTubes. Colin Day says, win. If it with NXT that keeps me watching wrestling. Oh, so Lucha Underground and NXT. Yeah, right now, for an American product, these two are the best, especially on a national stage that you can get to. Shundell Hall says, I'll miss Lucha Underground. This is the last season I heard they spent $20 million. Damn. That's a lot of fucking money. I thought in our game, spending $1 million was a lot. $20 million. Holy shit. Hopefully, dude, it was so good. Please support Lucha Underground. Man. Damn, Dave, where do I send you a question for Stump the Idiot? You can just send it here. I got to catch up on Stump the Idiots. I plan on, because some people are like, show your face, your ugly face. It makes the videos better. So I plan on doing Stump the Idiots short versions, and just put it on like question by question. So just leave it here. MMA Voice. Why is Ricochet not in New Japan? How would you rate him compared to Neville? I think Ricochet is the best wrestler in the world right now. I just think a big company has to get behind him. I don't. He's just not in New Japan because he had to deal with Dragon Gate. That's it. That's the only reason. I'm pretty sure New Japan would hire him, but I don't know. I love New Japan. New Japan's my favorite, but New Japan, they upset me. I'd rather see Ricochet in Dragon Gate or just represent Dragon Gate in New Japan because what is New Japan gonna do? Oh, you're white enough to be in Bullet Club. It's just, I don't know. I love Bullet Club because it got so many more eyeballs and it got people paid, but it just gets fucking ridiculous. And my perfect example is fucking what's his nuts. God damn it. I can't think of his name right now. I apologize. But a couple of those guys in the Bullet Club are fucking ridiculous. It's just like, no, too much.
Ryusuke Takahashi?
No. He's the one token Japanese guy. No, fuck. Oh, Kenny Omega. That's the guy. Kenny Omega is fucking ridiculous. It's just fucking ridiculous.
I thought Jeff Jarrett and Scott D'Amore being in it was like ridiculous.
Yeah, but we try to erase that from the memory. MMA Voice. I have an idea for Wrestle AM. All right, let's hear. We're always open for suggestions. I hope you kill yourself. I'm just kidding. MMA Voice is a gentleman. Every time there's a Boom Boom segment, you guys can play the Black Eyed Peas song Boom Boom, LOL. That would be awesome, but
I haven't heard the song, but I guess I'll have to look that up tonight.
You never heard Black Eyed? I don't even fucking pay attention to music, and I've heard that. Booms. Come on, you let me down. You're supposed to be like the king of pop culture.
I'm not down with the kids, I'm not up with the kids these days.
I'm pretty sure this is a
rock and roll music song. Their rock and roll music and their Pac-Man video games.
I am a voice. Yeah, it's just, dude, there's so many copyright issues with YouTube, especially in pro wrestling. Pro wrestling review shows have to go through a lot more. Other pro wrestling shows flag other pro wrestling shows. So copyright is horrible on YouTube. It's a million times more horrible on wrestling reviews. A million times more horrible. But yeah, if we could play music, we probably would, but we're kind of lazy. Hence why we make our own soundtrack. Hey, all right. Colin Day, I think sarcasm's dying because of the internet and texting. The younger generations don't talk to people anymore. That's a possibility. Because like I have my daughter who's like she's a teenager and she texts and shit and like you'll ask her a question and nope, no words come out. And you're like, bitch, use your goddamn words. What the fuck are you doing? She's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Like, come on, use the words. Help me help you. Use the words. Any nuts. All right, let's talk about this main event. If you have any more live comments, please do rock it.
Can I get in one thing before we go to the main event? I just mentioned it because it actually had me laughing. It was a little bit of a video package of Vampiro. He sat down with the New Trios champions.
Oh, yeah.
And he asked about, hey, how does it feel to become, the New Trios champions? And Ivan Lisa's like, well, of course it feels great because I was the team captain and they won. And Havoc's like, no, I single-handedly got us to the finals. And Angelico was like, I don't know, it was my cross body was the most important thing. And then they just kind of started bickering and they just kind of went back and forth. And I'm like, it's back to business as usual. They don't suddenly like each other now. And it's just, I found it just effing hilarious. So props to Lucha Underground for putting that segment on TV. It was a great way to follow up last week. You saw him selling it. Dave, are your sources telling you, and because I know you totally have sources out there in California, is her leg legitimately broken? She was in a cast.
Yeah. According to the internet, she got actually hurt. I like how you're like, hey, you got sources deep inside the locker room. And I'm like, yep, I'm on Spanky's Wrestling forums. Go fuck yourself net. No, according to the internet, yeah. And I imagine, I don't know. I'm friends with her on Facebook. You think I'd know this shit, but nope. Yeah, I imagine she's really hurt. I mean, why? Who knows? But I enjoyed the segment. I love this team. I love the storyline. I love the fact that they don't get along. I love the fact that they're underdogs. I love the fact that you bought into it. A lot of WWE defenders are like, they worked you, brother. I think they worked us last week, and I fucking enjoyed it. Why does being worked always have to be horrible? You know, why? You know, like someone like Lucha Underground's. All right, let's compare Lucha Underground to WWE. I know some people don't like doing that, but let's do it because WWE is a fucking monster. Lucha Underground is like, you thought you were getting one ice cream? I worked you. You're getting 3 ice creams. Lucha, Lucha, Lucha. How WWE works you. Oh, you got an ice cream? Right in the stomach. I'm stealing your ice cream, throwing it in the dirt, and still fucking eating it while I spit it in your face. I worked you. Well, yeah, I guess he kind of worked us, but you know, couldn't you make something enjoyable? Fucking Mark, you don't know how the business works. Of course. I'm silly me. I fucking yeah, but yeah, no, I enjoyed this segment. My favorite part is, you know, is when Ivelisse is yelling. He's like, it was just a crossbody. And Son of Havoc goes, I thought it was pretty nice. I don't know. I lost my shit on that. I was like, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Hilarious. It's like, that's the most basic move in all of wrestling.
Yeah, I like the backstage segments with Vampiro. And I like how, like, it sounded very podcast-ish. Like, you know, usually podcast on television doesn't work too well. But the fact that he's like, boom, when Vampiro was trying to end his show and they wouldn't shut the fuck up, how much were you like, I know what it feels like, Vampiro? I know
exactly what that feels like.
All right, main event time. Let's rock and roll.
Main event time. Your Lucha Underground champion, Prince Puma, with Conan in his corner, defending against Drago. Stipulations, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, was, well, the title's on the line, but if Drago fails to win the title, he'd be banished from the temple forever.
Forever. I don't know. It made it interesting. I enjoyed it. That little twist, it made the owner more evil. It made the match. Because, dude, I don't think if it had this twist, there's no way you don't think Prince Puma wins. You're like, it's fucking Prince Puma, motherfucker. The fuck do you mean?
And also at the same time, you're thinking, well, they're not really going to fire Drago, are they? I mean, he's a really good wrestler. I mean, we like him. You know, they're just not going to get rid of him. And then you're like, well, what are they going to do? And I think it just made the match mean so much more. And it really got you just emotionally invested in it. I mean, dude, it was a great match. I mean, they even mentioned how Drago changed up his style where he really wasn't taking as many chances. He was going for submission maneuvers. He was going for corkscrews. I mean, all kinds of just crazy shit. And it all just seemed to fit in the storyline. It was just... I think it was just a great storytelling. Now, the only thing I kind of hated was that, in fact, they actually did have an out for Drago because when Drago picked up Puma, he bumped Puma into the referee, hits him with Drago hits Puma with a pile driver. I mean, he's got him. He's got him right there. He'd be the new champion. He's looking around. There's no referee. And then Hernandez comes out to the ring and he hits Drago. You know, Puma is just like, I want to win, but I don't want to win this way. But he picked him up and hit him with a pile driver of his own and got the win. And you could see that Puma was just upset about the way he won the match. Drago, you know, like, well, this kind of sucks, but, you know, such is life. You know, thank you for the opportunity. Puma raised Drago's hand. Everybody was chanting, thank you, Drago. Very emotional moment. I think it was amazing. But I'll save like the very, very ending. But Dave, what were your impressions of the match? Were you like me, just emotionally invested in this match? And what did you think about the match itself? And were you kind of upset about the interference by Hernandez, or do you think it kind of gave them somewhat of an out to give Lucha Underground a little bit of wiggle room as far as, you know, not having straight up just Puma be a dick and like in Drago's career?
I'm okay with it just because it tells a story. I normally would be pissed off, but I think it protects a lot of people and tells a story. So I'm okay with it. I thought the match at the beginning, you know, was a bit slow, but it really picked up. It was a slow build, and some people like that more. So I guess it depends on your style of wrestling. I thought the Believers, where the fuck were you on this match? I thought like the crowd should have been more excited. That's just me. But now we're fucking picking on fans, and we'll let that be for other YouTubers. No, overall, I thought it was really good. I think I would have probably been pissed off, but, it told a good story and all that, but it makes everyone look strong. There's very few storylines where everyone looks strong. And usually it's the opposite. I mean, example, Sheamus, Dolph Ziggler. That's a storyline where everyone looks weak. This is like the opposite of that. You have Drago, who's leaving, but still looks strong because he was screwed. You have Puma, who looks strong because he wants the championship and listen to his, trainer, his, I guess, teacher. And, he was conflicted about it. He still said sorry. You have Conan looking sleazy because at first he's like, fuck him. And then he's like, oh, well, if Prince Puma cares, then I care. And then you have, Hernandez, who just fucking is out for the title. Which side is Conan going to be on? I don't know. I just thought it was one of those, this is stuff I normally don't like, but leaving this match, everyone looked strong. And that is something I'm a huge fan of. A huge fan.
I think Conan really added to the match. I think Conan added the match. He was like, no, his career's on the line. You have to try better than that. Come on, do what you got to do. Come on. Or when I think Drago had him in like a sleeper hold. It was a submission hold. I think it was a drop toe hold, something similar to an STF. And then you have Conan directing traffic. Come on, man, you're just stay there at the ropes. Just swing your hips a little bit more. You almost got it. I think that really just added to the match.
So, all right, cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. All right, let's talk about the last segment. We'll go live comments, wrap this up because you got a SmackDown review and I have lunch to make for the kids.
In that order?
No, I'll probably make lunch then do SmackDown.
Oh, okay.
Stuff we should probably talk about off air.
Exactly. The ending, you see Drago walking out back of the temple. He runs into Dario. He stares at Dario, and Drago says, I shall return, or I will return. He walks behind a curtain. Then you see like this huge fireball just go up, and I'm like, that is the most epic fucking exit ever. Think about it. He turns into a dragon. No, we don't see it, but it's implied.
Hold on. We don't know if he turned into a dragon. I got some theories. First off, it was shot amazingly. Second off, once he goes behind the curtain, I'm like, that motherfucker turned into a dragon? Did that just fucking happen? Did that motherfucker turn into a dragon? Like, I wish we were in the same room. Because I'd just look to you, looked at a television, look back to you, and be like, did that motherfucker turn into a dragon? But you never know. Maybe it was a terrorist plot to kill Drago. Yeah, you got step 1, step 2, he turned into a dragon, or 3, maybe his limo blew up. I mean, we don't know for a fact he turned into a dragon. I think we're really fucking jumping the gun on that. But then again, the flame did go up. So I'm like, he might be a motherfucking dragon.
At first, I thought like Dario had planted like a bomb and blew him up, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking hardcore. And then I was like, no, wait a minute, no, he's a dragon. He turned into a dragon and flew away. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense, at least within this universe.
I don't know. It was ridiculous, but it was done well, so I gave it a pass. But there was a part of me like, did that motherfucker just turn into a dragon? Did he turn into a dragon? Did that just fucking happen? Oh, man, I hope Drago comes back. But the one cool thing is he had his Arnold Schwarzenegger moment. He's like, I'll be back for you. That's not what he said, but he said something along those lines. I'll be back. That was the worst Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation ever.
Yeah, yes, that really was.
Thanks for having my back there, jerking nuts. You should have been like, no, Dave. Yeah, that was beautiful, and it made fucking poor kids around the world smile a little bit because of you. Their day is better. Come on, you're not really good at the whole ass kissing host thing. I watched another podcast, and oh my god, their co-host kissed that ass. We need to talk behind the scenes. All right, there we go. Facebook, stop talking to me about anything but Lucha Underground. I know the Bucks are awesome. You don't need to tell me. I love the Buccaneers my whole life. I know the Bucks are awesome. You don't have to go there.
You want to do live comments and wrap this bad boy up?
Yeah, we are. That was the Facebook live comments. We're getting to YouTube. We go across the board, sir.
Okay.
Is this your first day at the rodeo? All right. YouTube is the last one. All right, we got 2 comments from the same guy. Adrian Carmenete, Karmenate. Carmenete. That sounds like a last name. Adrian Carmenete. That sounds fucking sweet.
Yeah, it does. It's like a porn
F1
star
racer.
name.
Does it sound like he's an F1 racer? Anyway, I'm probably slaughtering his name. He's like, actually, it's Colt Bob Smith. Would you want to see Lucha Underground, AAA, and TNA team up? Also, New Japan and Ring of Honor, talent exchange between each other. Would love to see this happen. Oh, I'd love to see it. Well, AAA and Lucha Underground kind of have it already. Oh, that's why you had the Slash. I think TNA. I think all these companies should team up. I really do. I have no idea why TNA doesn't team up with everybody. It's fucking ridiculous. It's just.
Oh, I can tell you why.
Oh, well, besides Dixie Carter being dumb, do you
No,
have any
it has
legit
nothing
reasons?
to do with Dixie.
Yes, it does. She's dumb. Let's not defend her. I love her, and I'm glad she puts her dumb ass on the line so we have another alternative. But that bitch is dumb. All right, why is the TNA doesn't work with anyone?
I believe it was called Super Clash 2, or it basically it was like a 3 promotions. It was, I believe it was World Class, the AWA. God, I can't remember. It was back in the late 80s. It was as the then WWF was going to pay-per-view. They had these 3 promote. No, actually, no, I don't think World Class was a part of it. I'll have to double check. It was the one that ended with Kerry Von Erich and Jerry the King Lawler in the main event, and they wound up stopping the match because Von Erich was bleeding profusely, and so they awarded the title to Jerry Lawler. Anyway, that happened. This was back when the then WWF was doing pay-per-view, so these 3 companies decided to team up because, hey, hey, we do this talent exchange. We get like all our guys up on this pay-per-view, and it was just a huge clusterfuck because, well, you got 3 different promoters, so you don't want to lose and have your guys look weak. And there's a matter of like payouts.
Dear New Japan, fucking hold on, Boobs. I didn't mean to cut you off. Dear New Japan, please write that down. Write that down. If I gotta watch another fucking U vs ROH fucking super show and you look like assholes, go fuck yourself. Sorry, I just get so mad the way New Japan is treated in the Ring of Honor. Go on.
And in fact, that's the reason why Jerry Lawler abandoned the belt was because he didn't get paid for that pay-per-view that he did. And he kept that belt. In fact, he still got, I think World Class was a part because he still got that belt to this day. He still has it. And then that's when they put the title, I think it was with World Class, I think it was the AWA because they put the belt on Larry Zbyszko right afterwards. So that was just a huge mess, and that's why you don't have that. A couple of companies, yeah, you can maybe negotiate something, but if you start getting 3 or more, then you're going to learn the hard way. It's just, so to speak, having too many roosters in the hen house.
I hear you, brother. All right, one last live comment because real life is starting to invade my podcast life.
How many kids are actually in there?
No, this is business bullshit. But I love how people are like, you're just a fucking loser that podcast all day. And I'm like, no, that's what I strive to be. I'm not that yet. All right, last comment of the night. Well, let me refresh, and then we'll say last comment of the night. Boom, boom, boom. 5 thumbs up, 0 thumbs down. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. The last comment of the night. This week is a win for Lucha Underground. I'm gonna miss this show when the season ends, brother. Me too. I'm gonna miss it so much. It's ridiculous how much I'm gonna miss it. I wish we could. You know what? Hashtag fuck Donald Trump. I wish we can get that trending because Donald Trump has a lot of people that hate him, but they have their reasons. But the most important reason why I hate it is because he's canceling. All right, so fuck Donald Trump, and I think it was a win, and I'm really gonna miss the show.
Are they canceling it, or are they going on hiatus?
They're ending season 1. There will most likely be a season 2, but as soon as someone mentions season 2, everyone fucking panics. Like, it's not official yet. It's not official yet. So That's what it is. And I think they're all in the can right now, so try to avoid spoilers. All right, Booms. When you start playing bubbles, it's time to wrap up this show.
I'm messing with my cat.
Hold on. Oh, I was wondering what you were doing. Hold on. Can I put the camera on you?
All
right, there. The camera's on you. Show them the bubbles. Show them the bubbles.
Right.
This is what I have to do with. This is what I have to do with for a co-host. I'm like, I wonder what I'm saying is interesting. I'm not really sure. Let me see Boom Boom's reaction. I turn to the left. This is what Boom Boom's doing. Go ahead, Booms.
Okay.
Show him, you silly bitch.
I'm doing it now. And for some context here, my cat is directly like here below me. So
this is it. I'm like, oh, Lucha Underground. Yeah, I love it. I hope it comes back next season. And I look to the left, and that's what I see. That's what I see.
My cat was over here. I had my bubbles, so I was just like messing with the cat.
All right. There you go. All right. Booms. Thank you very much.
Right now.
Internet Infantry, thank you very much. Check out Kocosports.net. This is usually Boom's job, but he's busy with his cat and bubbles. Never thought I would say that out loud. Check out Kocosports.net as we are going through some growing pains, but hopefully we'll get past that. We're working on a secret project. And like, comment, subscribe as we do a minimum of one show a day. That's our goal. But today we're going to do two because after I make pizza for the kids, Boom Boom's coming back with a SmackDown review. So please like, comment, subscribe. Boom Boom, thank you. Audience, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. I think when you said like, comment, subscribe 7 times, it's time to end the show. With that, I am over. Boom, 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 boom.